Okay, trying to get over it. We're trying. Hi YouTube friends, it's Trish here, and welcome to my little corner of the internet. Today I'm taking a break in packing because I just watched the recent episode of The Bachelorette, Rachael and Gabby's season, supposedly, and I just felt like I had to come here just to talk about that rose ceremony. And maybe a few other mentionables, because last week I did not do a video. I'm just really busy at the moment. We're in the process of moving, and so a lot of packing going on, and it's our first real big move like this. So a lot of learning curves happening. Anyway, it's been interesting. Anyway, I have still been watching The Bachelorette, of course, and you know, last week was just, the Chris thing was annoying, but I do feel a little bit of that was, I don't know, it's still the early stages, and sometimes the earlier episodes are kind of like, meh. Anyway, I really am hoping to keep this somewhat short. This feels like it's falling. It's a very weighty clip. Stay out of my way, please. Okay, that feels a bit more secure. Okay. Sorry. Okay, I really just had a few things I wanted to talk about, because mainly I wasn't going to do a video this week either because I'm busy. But it literally was that last, 10 minutes or however long that rose ceremony was that I started to just get really annoyed. I was already, like, it was mounting, but that just tipped, the phrase is just not coming, and I don't know why I'm not Italian, but it's like anyway, oh my god. I don't know why I feel so all over the place when I really have 4 things I want to talk about. Just 4. Okay, so let's just get into it. I love Nate, and I love Nate for Gabby, and I love how, like, zeroed in on her that he is, seemingly from the beginning, and the way that he speaks to her, and not just in front of her but away from her. Like, he's just a good person, and I really, like, it's not that she doesn't see that. She definitely has a connection with him, but I do feel like she is in a little deeper for Eric, and I'm unsure about him. There's something about him that's just sort of like, I think what it comes down to, because I've been trying to think on it, because he hasn't technically done anything, there's something about him that just doesn't feel ready, or that he's fully, yeah, because I hate saying it like that, like, something about him just doesn't feel ready, but like, for the type of commitment that Gabby and Rachael are there for, I just don't see him being at that stage in his life, if that makes any sense. Like, I feel like he's still very young in terms of committed relationship dating. I don't know why. I just sort of get that vibe off of him. Not really based on a lot. It's just, I don't know. He's one to keep an eye on still. Whereas, granted, Nate has a daughter, so he is very matured in a lot of other ways. Not only, his age too, I think. He's like 33 or something like that. I don't know, I forget. But he's got a daughter. He obviously has these life experiences that just ages him a bit more, and you can really grasp and understand and believe when he's over there wanting to pursue that sort of a relationship. And I know that that's a little dumb of me to say at this point, because the show is obviously what most of the contestants go on there for. They're hoping to get fans and an Instagram following and all of that. And so who cares if you're ready for marriage or not? But you know, when a lead is sort of singling a contestant out and really delving in over there, I like to hope that the contestant that they are a piqued interest for is also in that frame of mind of wanting to also make a real connection for marriage. And I don't know if he almost reminds me a little bit of Nate in Michelle's season, where I have a feeling maybe he'll just catch him off guard. And even though, like, I don't know why I'm not really remembering this right now, but if I remember correctly, Nate had never been in love. And I don't know if Eric's been in love or not, but I don't think that matters. I still just think there's something very young about him in terms of actual real long-term commitment. And not saying that this couldn't be the first, it's just what a way to have a first experience like that. So we will have to see. Also, kind of really quickly, this is something that struck me as I was watching the group date. Not the day, well, the day portion, you know, I'll just talk about Nate again. What he said to Gabby as he's doing the proposal posed photo shoot was super sweet and very genuine, and a real moment amongst all of the, and it was still fun and lovely, but it was leaning more lovely, whereas all of the others were leaning more fun. And it was a really nice moment for them to have on that date. I feel it was real, and I really liked it. And he really has a way with words that I find super impressive. I think because I'm just so terrible at it, that whenever I come across people that are just really good at speaking exactly what's going on emotion-wise, very effusely and effortlessly, and anyway, concisely also, because that's my problem, is I can't be concise. But it's super sweet, you know. And I mean, he won last week in dealing with the whole Chris stuff, because while that conversation was going on, he really pinpointed on the real issue overall, was that you have preconceived notions of how you're going to handle certain situations. You're testing them, and that's not what you should do in a loving relationship. So, a king, true and true. And he had the pearls. He looked so, like, he really pulled that off. Anyway, we're turning this into a Nate fan club, and I really want to see more of Spencer, because I really liked his limo entrance, and there's something about him that seems so sweet and gentlemanly, and I just really want to see more of him. The way he accepted Gabby's rose, and he's just like, yes ma'am. But like, there was something, I don't know, there's something so romantic about him, and I just want to see more about Spencer. So I really like those two picks for Gabby. For Rachael, talking about her a bit more now, that's where I was sort of going with the whole talking about the group date, was actually the nighttime portion. All of Gabby's one-on-one times that we saw, which, oh my god, excruciating and really annoying, but we're all sort of indoors in these sort of dark, secluded areas, little corners, or well, one of them, or maybe a couple of them, were outside, but anyway, in the garden sort of section, whereas Rachel's were just front and center and in the stadium. I mean, did Gabby also have that experience and we just didn't see it? Or was it only Rachael that had these sort of like prime spots on the grass in the middle of the stadium? She definitely had it with Avon and Tino. And I feel like there was another one maybe. I'm not sure. And I also wondered, can everyone else see her? Because I mean, she's just really making out with Tino especially, but also Avon, and just like in the bright lights. So the thought crossed my mind on like, is everyone watching? Anyway, but go get it, girl. So let's see, where did I want to go next? I suppose the rose ceremony, because I felt just so confused about so much. Oh my god, my hair. I like can't. Whatever. So the rose ceremony. The girls want to sort of take this power back and force the men to sort of make a decision on who ultimately they're going for. And I hate that this even had to be the route in which this is coming about. Not that I have any idea of how better to do this. They shouldn't have done this two Bachelorette thing, especially with ladies. And what am I trying to say? Where am I getting at? Well, for one, there was one thing I was thinking about, especially when, so Jesse's sort of doing a play-by-play when Tremaine is the first one to reject a rose. Jesse then comes in and is like, just to be clear, you're rejecting her. Yes, Jesse, it just happened. Like, why else? What? Anyway, so he comes in, states the obvious, and then says that, okay, well, you're just gonna have to go back in line, and if Gabby chooses you, great. If not, you're gonna have to go home. And Rachael, I'm gonna have to take away that rose. Why? There are plenty of guys. Why do you have to take away Rachel's rose? I felt like that was further punishment. Like, I get, okay. So what was also starting to bug me, and this may not be a popular opinion, so unpopular opinion potentially coming forward, Rachael was beginning to upset me in her line of thinking. Now, I can't say that I probably wouldn't be all up in my feels and feeling a lot of the same stuff. So I do, know that she was in the thick of it, and it was happening where she was getting rejected by guys that she wanted to give her rose to. I can't imagine that these guys are really high up on your list, so I really wish in that moment she took a breath and really thought about that, because as it's happening, and I hate that they're making her give that rose, like it being taken away from her, because it feels like an added further, like, what am I trying to say? Just like she's already getting rejected. Having her rose taken away so she can't ask anyone else feels like an added extra punch in the gut that's unnecessary. And also, wouldn't that then mean that Gabby potentially could have a lot more guys than Rachael does? Do we really want that? Like, that seems weird. But Rachael was getting to the point, and I get it, she had like, I think she had 2 guys reject a rose, and then 1 accept, and then another 1 reject. So there was a little bit of a break. But anyway, she had multiple gentlemen not accept her rose. And that's a bruise to the ego. I get it. Like, and you immediately do feel like you're in a competition with the other Bachelorette. Like, and I get that, but you've got 5 or 6 guys already out there in Camp Rachael. 2 of which are Tino and Avon, which I feel like are her top 2. And what's his name that she just went on the one-on-one date? I'm blanking. But that guy, they had a nice date. He might be slot number 3 for her at this moment. So I wish she had remembered that, because what I guess really sort of struck me was she says, if 1 more guy rejects my rose, that's it, I'm done, I'm leaving. But why? You have 5 or 6 guys that are interested in you, and more important than that, it's guys that you're really into, and they're into you as well. So I don't know. And I feel bad sort of criticizing that, because again, I'm not in that position. I'm not the one who's getting rejected by multiple guys in a row in front of everyone. I really didn't like that she sort of diminished Gabby's feelings from the night before just because Gabby's were one-on-one conversations. I get what she's saying, but it's the same emotions. It's the feeling of rejection. Rejection sucks, no matter in what way or form or whatever. So I do feel like in this rose ceremony, Rachel's pride and ego were struck really hard and made her very emotional. And I kind of wish that she had instead taken stock in, okay, these guys aren't into me. That's fine. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. And you know what? The guys that I'm really interested in accepted my rose. Again, super easy for me to say sitting over here as I'm watching, but it was one thing that sort of bugged me. But it also got me thinking about what I am really glad about now, in that they're splitting the guys, which there were some guys that were still undecided, but it seemed like some of them maybe hadn't talked to both of them. How many days has it been at this point? Shouldn't they have all had the opportunity to have conversations? And I do kind of feel like in a first conversation, you get a generally good idea on who you're into. They are 2 different women. Anyway, so I am happy that it's now sort of split, and Rachel's got her group of guys and Gabby's got her group of guys. Like, that's great. But I did think, like, if they did not do this week, what was confusing me was last week Rachel goes on her one-on-one with the drag racer Jordan, I think his name is, which, oh my god, what a sweetie. And that really sucked. I understand though, like I'm saying, everyone is not everyone's cup of tea, you know? So even though he's a great guy, sweet, a gentleman, all of that, if there isn't something there that's drawing an attraction, then it's just not there. Like, it's no fault to him, it's no fault to her, it's just, it's the fact of the matter, and that's what happened. But anyway, when that happened and she didn't give him a rose, my immediate thought was, okay, but does Gabby not get a say in this? Like, what if she's interested in this guy, but now he's already in a black car driving away? So I was really curious on how they were going to move forward, because if one, you know, just like that, if one girl is saying no to someone and sending them home, what if the other one might have been interested in seeing that further? Do they call them back from the airport? Anyway, so this should maybe clear things, but I was a little confused because I think his name is Hayden, right? The very southern, he looks like who's that actor? Oh my god, why am I blanking? He's one of my favorite actors. Shit. The one who like doesn't age. Paul Rudd. Oh my god. Anyway, he's got a Paul Rudd sort of look to him a little bit. Anyway, that guy. So last night told Gabby that she's rough around the edges. Like, it's okay to not be into her, but maybe say it in a different way. Like, I don't think we need to talk about specifics in that situation. I think it's just clearly and simply saying, I'm attracted and interested in Rachael. That's it. That's all you have to do. That's all you need to say. Like, you don't need to talk about specifics on a person that you're not into. It's just unnecessary. So anyway, he had said that he was into Rachael, told the guys that, yeah, this is what I said. And the guys were probably so confused on what the deal was. Anyway. So he says that, and then it seems like he hesitated when Rachael called his name for the rose, during the rose ceremony. Am I the only one who gets that feeling? I hope not, because it seemed pretty apparent. There was a weird sort of hesitation, then a weird sort of walk forward, turn left, walk forward. Something was weird about it, and it kind of felt like a hesitation. And I don't know if it was because he sort of felt bad, because the guys could then tell that what was bothering Gabby was she was rejected by a few people the night before, and he was one of those. So I don't know if it was just him sort of weirdly feeling bad accepting Rachael's rose in front of Gabby, or if he was actually hesitating. I think that was all. I'm so tired. Crap, now I have to edit this. And you always think it's not going to take that long, but anyway. I will have more pep and more energy next month. This month is just, oh my god, there's so much going on. But again, I really wanted to hop on just to talk about those few things, because I am watching the season and I do still have thoughts. But for today's video, that is about it. Thanks for watching, and maybe I'll see you next week. Until then, toodles.